start. Welcome, Sarah.
Hello, nice to see you.
Thank you for being here in our feedback meeting today. So you've joined me in the Circles of Change Academy. And one of the courses you've been attending next to your own Fit for Responsibility Dev work is our bootcamp, Reclaim Your Power. And we've now concluded it. We are now done. We have concluded the 28 days together. So I'm curious about what that course has meant for you. So did you get what you came for in that course when you joined it?
Yes, I did. Initially, the reason why I joined was to have a better understanding of me. That was understanding me, understanding what was happening to me. Because when you go through a lot of experiences, sometimes you get certain messages, but you don't fully understand the whole thing. So actually, this depth work has enabled me to understand the blockages, to remove them, or at least start removing them, and to have a deeper connection with myself.
Beautiful. So what is it that you've learned about yourself through that deeper connection with yourself? What are you uncovering, and what did you feel in particular this program helped you uncover and learn about yourself?
Well, now we're going to start unpacking. Well, the most important thing I've learned was that the stories that we carry with us are not us, which is, because we have this identity that we've formed over the years through our experiences, and we actually believe that we are that person because of those experiences. But those experiences happen because of the way we were educated or brought up, or etc. And when you step away from it, you actually see that you could actually be someone else. You don't have to have those experiences again. You don't have to get stuck in this, stuck in the rut, as they say. You can expand. So that is the most valuable lesson I've learned through doing this course. That we are essence, and we're all unique, and that we can really connect with that deeper self, which is so important, because it's connecting with self is connecting with others. Because humans like to connect, but they're stuck in their belief systems. They're also stuck in their ego. So this is what we're experiencing on the planet. We're actually experiencing these issues fully in what's happening all over the world, really. And then the other thing was consistency. The daily practice with the gym is extremely important in the mornings. I was always against this. The little inner child was always against routine. Wanted to go on adventures and didn't want to kind of settle down, which is this. But actually, the adult self is about aligning that mind, body, and soul, and the setting the intention in the morning by doing this daily practice really helps to keep you centered. And in my case, it was to actually keep me grounded. Enough flying around and running away. So the grounding has been a valuable lesson for me.
Very nice.
And also to heal all those wounded inner children that are sitting inside, because we love the inner children, but when they're healed, not when they're wounded. They're not meant to be wounded. They're meant to be fully happy and healed now.
And it's beautiful that you also mentioned that as part of the gym. So what we call a daily gym is, of course, our practice, and we understand in-depth work that actually self-care is a discipline, and we need to practice that muscle so that it becomes easy to get back to. And of course, our healing work requires that as well. It's not like flip a switch. It takes time to actually sit with that wounding that we're experiencing, and to actually release it out of ourselves, and which you've done so beautifully, both in your depth work in one-on-one, but certainly also in how you've shown up in our group work in the program of Reclaim Your Power. Was there anything that surprised you, Sarah, during this month in the course, and also in a group environment, which is different, of course, than journeying on your own?
Yes, I mean, there's two. Well, for the group, the environment with the group I think, was very important, because it was learning from others and in a very authentic space, which is crucial, because you can't really do that outside if you're not with people who are on that bandwidth, on that vibration, because you don't want to fall into the judgment or because this will create more issues. So it's a beautiful space to express yourself, but more importantly, actually, to listen to other people's journeys, in the sense of no one is better or lower, or everybody's on the same wavelength, and it doesn't actually matter about their experiences. It's actually how they've overcome them, and how they grow, and also seeing it's a space to be vulnerable, and when you tap into your vulnerability, you're able to show your authentic side, to be authentic, which and it gives you that courage as well, to when you're in this group, you see how people react, that actually when you go outside, you'll probably get the same kind of reaction. So it's to give you that perhaps that confidence to be this new the new you, the new essence in you, instead of holding back and being scared, because we know that when you hold fear, it's blocking you in evolving, and of course we all have fears somewhere. They all hide somewhere. We try to deal with them, but yeah. And what surprised me was actually, in the back of my mind, I've always known. I mean, I have this lower back pain that's been hanging around for a year now, which has been quite debilitating and quite. I'm a very fit person. I do skiing, I swim, I run, I go cycle. I mean, I like all of those things, but I haven't been doing any of them, and it's not a space I want to be in. Also, it shows you how the soul and your inner state is reflected in your outer state, in the physical state, and I've noticed by doing the morning practice and the deep breathing, as well as another practice that was suggested, the tray practice, to release the trauma in my physical body. By actually combining both, this depth work is actually helping me release this pain, which was being built up probably throughout the years, but more importantly with what's happened in the last 2 years. So that's one. I mean, I knew that it was related, but to actually see how breathing can change your inner state is quite incredible. I didn't. It's almost like, I always thought meditation, all those kind of things were. I mean, I practiced them, but I didn't really take them too seriously. I didn't understand the impact it could have, or at least I kind of walked a little bit away from it, and I should have kind of centered back into it. And also think yoga is also a very good way to keep yourself centered and physically fit. So that I need to start practicing again. And that the amount of baggage we carry in us causes all these pains in our body, this disease.
Exactly. Yeah.
The disease in us comes from the psychological side. So depth work is crucial. In fact, I would say it's essential in someone's life.
Yeah.
Essential, essence, essential, all these things are linked. And I actually think it should be taught in schools. I
Yeah.
mean, I've already been saying consciousness should be taught in schools for years.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Um,
So Sarah, you know, it's not the first thing. It's not the first time that you've done a course. It's not that, you know, you're not new to the journey of consciousness. What is different in this space? I mean, what's different in this kind of facilitation?
mm.
You know, the work that you've been busy with now in the Circles of Change Academy and with myself the last 2 months. What's different?
Well, the difference is, I mean, I had a lot of different experiences. I've been with shamans. I've been with Hinduism. I've done, also done therapy with therapists in the
Mm,
States, very well known therapists. The a lot of the things I was doing was textbook. It
mm,
was one in particular, I already knew about the wounded inner children, and I
mm,
already learned how to let go of some of them. So I kind of already done that kind of work, but I actually didn't go in the depth
yeah.
of things. I did understand the root of things connected with, but I didn't know how to get out of this getting stuck in the ruts thing, like going around in
Mm,
circles. Always, even though you pause and you stay calm, you're still entering that reaction. You're still entering.
mm,
You're still reacting,
mm,
and you don't understand um, why you keep behaving like that. So
mm,
um, yeah, it's that's the difference. It's the depth of that I've learned. It's the going further than yes, you know you have this problem, you know you have a certain issue, but it's understanding why it's there, and to work on it, and to actually be
mm.
your own therapist. I think
Yes.
that's the key. And the thing is, we all help each other. It's been a wonderful uh, learning curve, is that we're all students together. And
Yeah.
I think perhaps the problem I have with some of the things I did before, it was always somebody above who knew better or was trying to
Mm,
portray themselves as knowing better, when in fact you might have um, key things in certain aspects where you know actually perhaps better than the other person because you've had more exposure to
mm,
something. Um, so it's really the values in things. It's like
mm.
connecting with values with people and actually expanding on those.
Beautiful. Very nice. Yeah. And everybody is definitely in the journey of the responsible individual and the Circles of Change Academy. Everybody's a student, facilitators, and those that join the program, you know, and it's beautiful. And it's lovely that you're picking that up. And it's very powerful because now
Mm.
we're all sitting together and journeying together and learning together and exploring together. We all have stuff, which has been powerful. And I want to thank you also for being with the group in the academy, and which of course, you know, as I can hear, also deepened your own practice. And very importantly also that in the Circles of Change Academy, we always make references to complementary work, because body work like the TRE is
Mm.
really, really important as well, because there's some things we can't get to. And I know that after I had my armed robbery 6 years ago, I also did some TRE just to release um, on a cellular level, and all that storage that was carried that I couldn't just get to through talking therapy, but actually, you know, I needed to get to it through body work. So it's lovely that you're doing that as well. So Sarah, and you've mentioned a lot of things that are already very powerful. Is there one or two that you want to highlight that's really stood out for you the last month?
Um, yes, I mean, for me, well, recently was acceptance.
Yeah.
Accepting was a big thing for me, because I think often when we've experienced a lot of things,
Mm,
we are justifying, we're holding on to this kind of sense of justice. In fact, the sense of justice doesn't exist. It actually doesn't exist.
mm,
And it's accepting what's happened in your life, letting go of it, which is crucial, because this is such a big blockage in how you go forward. I know perhaps a lot of people are always trying to, oh, if I had done this, or if I had behaved like this, or etc. But these what ifs are not constructive. They don't actually get you anywhere. You're not actually being kind to yourself. So that's one big lesson. And being kind is and filling yourself with gratitude and love for yourself, because it's and forgive things, because it's also a storage. Everything we hold, basically anything negative that you're holding, is what needs to be released, because it impacts on your well-being. So those are the big lessons.
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. And of course, there are many lessons, of course, in the journey, and acceptance is kind of like one of the big doors to enter into the journey. If we want to activate the student in us, we actually have to accept the classroom, right? And the classroom is the challenge, and it is what triggers us. So it is a really difficult one, because there's a part of us that might, as you say, you mentioned justice, that might want it in a certain way, but we're not tackling our own inner world, and the invitation we're getting on this, we're accepting, okay, this is my classroom, I'm invited into a journey of learning, and only then can we also be much better in our decision making. We then say, okay, so what is the right, what's right and wrong for me, because certainly there are things that we got to tackle as human beings, and also things we say, that's not okay for me, and that's also fine. But in depth work, we first accept the invitation to go inwardly, so we can rinse, because old storage, if we're prompted by old storage, very often doesn't become the best decisions that we're making, because we cannot see clearly.
Well, it's exactly that. And also it's to liberate yourself from they're like those ancient medieval big cast iron balls that were around you, that used
Very
to be
good.
locked around your feet. You can't walk very far with those things around your feet. So that's the boundaries is also very important.
Wonderful. So would you recommend depth work to other people, Sarah?
Of course. I think it's, well, as I mentioned before, I think it's essential. I think it's crucial for people to do it, because actually we're in this new era where we have all this amazing internet access. COVID has shown us to kind of look inwards, look in our patterns and the way we behave, which has been the positive side of this virus. And also perhaps sharing with others. But yes, I definitely recommend, because it's something that we're not taught when we grow up, really. Well, it depends what kind of parents you have, but in general, parents or older generations haven't had access to this kind of work. So if you're a parent, I definitely think it's absolutely essential that you do it, simply because you have kids and you have a responsibility to educate your children in the best possible way, for them to reach their greatest potential. I have 2 kids. I've been sharing a lot of this work with my son, and especially my son, because I'm more connected with him at the moment. My daughter's a teenager, so we're going through a different phase, but she gets the same information. And yesterday I got a message from him with all these so much love, and I love you to the moon and back, because actually children really connect with the essence of us humans. They cannot, actually, they don't like the human side of us, the children. They like
confusing.
it's very confusing, and it creates all these the wounded inner children that we grow up with are created from that space of this, well, let's say lack of humanity, in the sense of not understanding our true essence is what it means.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Sarah, just on a last note, so what about the facilitation, both in your individual journey and in the course with a group? Can you speak a little bit about how you feel the space is held and the facilitation style? Do you trust the space?
Yes, totally. I trust the space because, well, first of all, because it's very calm. There's no judgments. It's already set in that energy. You've understand people. You're very open. You're very calm, and you're never judgmental. So because you've done the work, obviously on yourself. So which opens the door for people to heal, because you're very compassionate. You're understanding of people's experiences, and this applies to people from all walks of life with all kinds of backgrounds. In fact, we're all the same. We just have different experiences. And yeah, I think it's a wonderful space. And actually, I'm in London and you're in South Africa, so you know it doesn't. You don't actually have to be physically present. You can be. This tool of Zoom is fantastic to connect with people. And so and the internet, we can do our work online, which is great.
Absolutely. And how's that been for you? I mean, because, before COVID, many people might have felt more comfortable to see and meet in spaces, especially when you do inner work. How has your experience been to do this work online?
Well, this is the thing, is that it's obviously when I arrived in London, I had a different therapist at the time. And I used to go and physically see her, and it was such a long trip. I used to spend an hour and a half there and back. And then with COVID hit, we did a session online. And I hadn't thought of doing it like this. And actually, since COVID, we've obviously done all this online work. And actually, it works really well. And I actually prefer it, because you're not wasting any time on traveling. And you've got more time to do your work, and you're not getting frustrated because you're having to travel or anything like that. And anyway, traveling has been quite restricted. So yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I started using Zoom from way back already a few years ago. So I got used to the tool, but I didn't think that we would use it so much in every aspect. So,
wonderful. Sarah, it's really wonderful to hear the things that you have already in such a short time actually harvested from the process. And I wish you a happy new year, and I'm really looking forward to continuing the journey with you into the new year. So thank you for coming today and sharing this feedback with me and with everyone who's going to watch.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you very much for helping me and putting me on track.
Thank you.
And I wish you a happy new year as well.
You too. Thank you.
All the very best.
Thank